All right, let's figure out OpenAI ChatGPT conversion tracking. So you are running ads on ChatGPT, or you are planning on running ads on ChatGPT, and you want, and you definitely should, you want to measure the performance of your ads. Basically, you're investing X amount of money in your ads. How much money are you making in return? How many leads or e-commerce purchases or appointments scheduled, or whatever is the business main goal, how many of those are you getting as a direct result of your OpenAI ChatGPT ads? So I just recently set this up for one of my clients, and yeah, it was pretty interesting. Very similar to how Meta conversion tracking works. So in this video, I'm going to kind of quickly explain what is conversion tracking, what's the benefit, and then I will do a step-by-step tutorial. So this video is kind of accompanying video for this blog post on my website. So I just created the first version of the website, and now I'm recording the video, which will probably be somewhere around here. All right, so a quick intro. You can skip this and go directly to the tutorial if you're in a hurry. So basically, the way I think about this is that, back in the day, 1950s, Mad Men, etc., you could advertise on TV, radio, in the thing behind the airplane, in the subway, on the side of the bus. But you were not able to directly measure how well each specific ad worked. So back then, if you have a ad on the side of the bus, you weren't able to know that, 1,000 people have seen your ad on the side of the bus, 200 came to your store, and 50 people purchased your product because they saw the exact ad on the side of the bus. It was impossible. And even less possible would have been to compare, what about this bus line versus this bus line? This one goes through a rich neighborhood. This one goes through a longer route with more people. You weren't able to directly measure how well a specific ad worked. Now, in modern world with digital marketing, this is possible. Unfortunately, many, especially small to medium-sized businesses, don't really do this. They kind of go in with the same blindfold on, just like people did, 70 years ago. But if we set up conversion tracking, things get very interesting. I'll show you what I mean. So I'll use Meta ads as an example. I expect ChatGPT ads to eventually look very similar. Google ads, Meta ads, they kind of end up becoming quite similar, all these platforms. So Meta ads as an example. So a photography studio running a few campaigns to get people to book like baby photography, family portraits, things like this. So by default, without conversion tracking, we only get a few numbers which are kind of pointless. We get things like how many people our ads have reached for different campaigns, how many impressions, meaning how many times someone has seen our ads, or things like how many clicks the ads have gotten. So if you have like an ad agency and they're telling you this is how many clicks you're getting, you should fire the ad agency. All right, so here we see just these platform metrics, what happens within Meta or ChatGPT or Google ads, what happens there, but it's disconnected from the actual business results, like making a purchase on our website or filling a lead form on the website. All right, so of course we can also see how much we have been spending on ads for each campaign. But if we implement proper conversion tracking, then we get the real numbers which we're actually interested in. For example, we can see how many appointments we have gotten for each campaign and how many purchases. In this example, actually, appointments and purchases are tracking the same thing because the appointments are paid. So in this example, it's tracking the same thing. We are also tracking trials started and subscriptions. These are actually used for something a bit more advanced, but I will go deeper into that in this video. So we are also tracking, with proper conversion tracking setup, the purchase conversion value. So how much people have spent making purchase on our website because they clicked on our ads. And we can see the ROAS, the return on ad spend, which is the ratio of how much we pay Mark Zuckerberg or Sam Altman and company, and how much do we get in return. So here we can actually see that we have, for this campaign, we have spent about 5,900, and we have actually gotten back about 5,900. Pretty rare to have the numbers match, to have a ROAS of about 1. So ROAS, normally we want this to be a much higher number. Now in this specific business, the customers have a high LTV, high customer lifetime value. So they are usually customers for years and years. So we are perfectly fine paying, not making any money on the first purchase, getting a new customer for many years, and then making money for a longer time. But without conversion tracking, we would not be able to see these numbers. So for this business with a kind of longer lifetime value for the customers, we are perhaps more interested in metrics like cost per purchase, and even more so a newer metric I created for this business specifically, the CAC, or the cost to acquire customer. So this is how much we need to pay Meta or ChatGPT to get a new customer in through the door or our website. And this is kind of the interesting part. We can see that with this campaign, because we have proper conversion tracking, we can see that the cost to acquire customer is like 3 times as high as with these other campaigns. So it makes sense to pause this bad campaign and allocate more money to the better campaigns. And then you can iterate, improve, test, compare. Now, another thing which happens, especially on Google and Meta, I'm not yet sure how much it is happening on the ChatGPT side, is the training of the algorithm. So on these more mature platforms like Google, Meta, TikTok, etc., you have the option to set like a goal for your campaign where the algorithm tries to reach a certain outcome automatically. And the most popular ones are maximize number of conversions and maximize value of conversions. So the key idea here is that this is very effective. It's made practically by the smartest people in the world using advanced AI algorithms, learning customer behavior, learning which type of customers are most likely to buy your thing, and then showing the ads in a specific sequence for these types of people to get as many conversions as possible. But here's the thing. These options only work as well as your conversion tracking. So if we tell ChatGPT in the future or Meta to maximize conversions, we need to tell the platform each conversion so the algorithm can learn, okay, John clicked on an ad and John converted. Sarah clicked on an ad, but Sarah did not convert. Let's find more people like John, but it needs the information. So these are kind of the 2 key things why we need conversion tracking. All right, so never run ads without conversion tracking. Yeah, there's just no point in doing so. It's gonna result in waste. And yeah, let's next proceed and set up our conversion tracking for OpenAI. So you're gonna head over to ads.openai.com, tools, conversions, and we're gonna create a data source. So this is very similar to creating a pixel in Meta Ads. So we're gonna head over here, Ads Manager, conversions, and create data source. You can call this my OpenAI pixel. You can call it whatever you want, and you will click create. So here is the pixel code we are gonna first install to our website. Now we will be able to see this again, but you can copy it somewhere. All right, next we should install something called Google Tag Manager. This is the industry default tool for doing conversion tracking on websites. All right, so you're gonna head over to tagmanager.google.com, create your container, choose web, create. Yeah, so then you're gonna see this pop up and you're gonna install this to your website. If you miss this, you can always go to admin and click install Google Tag Manager. Now you need to figure out a way to add this to your website. Now for the demo video, I'm using Squarespace, so we're gonna go to code injection and we're just gonna copy paste it here and click save. Now if you use WordPress, one popular plugin is the GTM for WP, so you can just install this and copy paste. There you will only copy paste this part into the Google Tag Manager for WordPress plugin. But with WordPress, there are like million ways. As long as you can just copy paste it in, you have, for example, code snippets plugin where you can copy paste code. You had head and footer code plugins. So you can just copy paste it into any of these plugins as long as it appears on the website. Now, if you're using something like Shopify, you would go to your online store, you would edit the theme, click edit here. Whoops, actually not edit. We want the edit code. Yeah, so click here, edit code. Now, there would be a bit more fancy way to do this properly, where you would create a snippet, and you would call it something like GTM, and you would include the snippet here. But for a quick and dirty solution, I'm just gonna edit the theme.liquid, and here where we have head, I'm just gonna copy paste this entire Google Tag Manager thing here. And I'm gonna click save. So you will find tutorials online on how to install Google Tag Manager to any platform, including Webflow and others. If you have a vibe coded your website with Claude, you're just gonna tell Claude to make sure this is included in the head section of all pages. Perfect. So now we have installed Google Tag Manager to our website. Next, let's install the Google Tag Assistant. This is a Chrome extension where using it makes the testing of our conversion tracking a little bit easier. So head over here, add it to Chrome. Actually, Companion. So there are two versions. Yeah, this is a little bit confusing. So there are like two versions, Companion and the Tag Assistant. Honestly, I don't think it matters which one you will go with. Yeah, and you can click here and you can find the Tag Assistant and you can click here so you can kind of pin and you can see it. All right, next we want to verify that Google Tag Manager is installed in our website. So Google Tag Manager, again, it's like a tool, visual, easy to use tool where we will then be able to add these conversion tracking tags. And it's usually much easier to install tracking via Google Tag Manager than custom coding. So let's verify that GTM is installed. So we're going to go to, all right, so in Google Tag Manager, we are going to click on preview, which opens this Google Tag Assistant website. So the Tag Assistant extension is kind of like an extra tool that makes this work a little bit better. And the Tag Assistant is this kind of website connected to the Google Tag Manager. Anyway, you're going to copy paste your website where your website and the one where you have installed Google Tag Manager into, and then you're going to click connect. It's going to open a new tab, And then we have kind of three things here. Well, perhaps we have perhaps we'll have four things here actually. We have our OpenAI Ads Manager, we have the Google Tag Manager, we have the Google Tag Assistant that's going to show us what's happening under the hood, and then we have a tab where we are just browsing our website. So if Google Tag Manager is installed properly, the Tag Assistant, which is like a debugging tool, like a testing tool to test Google Tag Manager and tags within Google Tag Manager and actually outside Google Tag Manager. So this Tag Assistant is, it should show that Google Tag found. It should show that your GTM, your Google Tag Manager, has been found. Now for me, it's already showing some conversion tags because I completed the tutorial, but for you, it's probably going to be empty. Perfect. So next, we're going to add the OpenAI pixel. This is kind of the base pixel, the data source we created earlier, and we're going to plug it into Google Tag Manager. All right, so the data source we created earlier here, we will go to it. We can view code, click here, view code, and we will copy this setup code here. So here in Google Tag Manager, under tags, we're going to click on new. I'll call this OpenAI Pixel Base. Click here on this thing, choose a tag type. I'm going to click Custom HTML, and I'm going to copy paste the tag, the setup code into Google Tag Manager here. Now for triggering, I'm going to use initialization all pages. So on all pages, the Google Tag Manager loads, and it's going to load this pixel, which is the base, and then we'll set up the conversions using this pixel later. So we can click save. All right, so if you work with Meta Pixel, for example, usually the page view and the pixel kind of come together. Well, actually, the Metapixel also has the initialization and the page view separately, but it's all in the same copy-paste snippet. So when you install the Metapixel, you get the page views kind of automatically because the snippet has both kind of the pixel base and the page view thing. Now, OpenAI kind of does this separately, so we'll figure those out. All right, so the setup code added to Google Tag Manager, and now we can actually test this if we like. We could go to preview, but maybe we'll install the conversion tracking and then do a round of testing in the end when we have everything up and running. All right, so next step is adding the page view tag. So this is actually a little bit unclear from the ChatGPT documentation on if we should track all page view like the Facebook Metapixels does, or whether we should just track specific important pages that are more like conversions, like a checkout page or a cart page view or a specific product page view. So here, for example, we have the page views. So here in the example, there's like a pricing page. So this indicates that it is perhaps more like we select specific pages and we track those ones. Not sure yet. I'll try to reach someone at OpenAI to let us know how we should think about this. But in this example, I'm actually tracking all the page views. So here we're actually using the name. We're just using the automatic name of each page and automatically kind of tracking all of them. I'll let you know if I find a better, more clear answer. But let's do this one. So we're going to do a new tag here. I'll do this OpenAI Pixel Page View All Dynamic. So what this means is we're tracking all page views. Custom HTML, I will copy paste this here. And here, instead of a trigger, I'm actually gonna do a little bit of an advanced move. I'm gonna click the base tag, which is firing on all pages, and then I'm gonna go to advanced settings, tag sequencing, and fire a tag after the pixel base. And then I'm gonna do the page view. So what's gonna happen is on all pages, we're gonna trigger the base, and right after it's gonna fire our page view. Now we could perhaps just add the page view thing here. That would probably work. Many ways to do it. In the tutorial, I'm now gonna do it kind of this classy professional way. Now I'm actually gonna run a little in-between test. So I'm gonna jump in the video a little bit further in the tutorial. Just make a quick test before we actually set up the real valuable conversion action. So you can also install the OpenAI Pixel Helper. This seems to be like an unofficial tool, but it's very similar to what Meta has. Meta has this Meta Pixel Helper where we can kind of see in real life what's going on. So I'm gonna head over to the event stream, and I'm gonna click start polling. And then in Google Tag Manager, I'm gonna click preview again. So although I have the preview, tag assistant, all these running, I'm gonna turn them off and click preview again, because we have made changes in Google Tag Manager, and we always need to click preview again to see kind of the new version. So we need to reconnect. And now we have our website with this temporary version of Google Tag Manager, not yet published, kind of work in progress. We have the tag assistant, and we see tags fired, initialization. On this phase of the loading of the website, 2 tags have fired, the OpenAI Pixel Base and the page view. All right, so I'm gonna browse a few pages here. We can also click the OpenAI Ads Pixel Helper on Chrome, and we can see that the page view, which is again sort of like a conversion, but also sort of like a page view, is being sent. So here in the event stream, we should see these events coming in. Perfect. Now, if we want, we could now submit and say OpenAI Pixel base installed, and we could publish this. But yeah, we still haven't installed the actual conversion, so now we have kind of everything in place. Google Tag Manager, base tag, page view, connection, events are flowing in, so we can kind of now dig into actually measuring the valuable events, the conversions. Now, there are basically infinite number of different conversion events and different triggers for those events, but I'm gonna share at least 3 examples that are very common ones. So everything up until this point is basically the same for everyone, but here it depends on what is valuable for your business. What action do you want them to take after they click your ads in ChatGPT? What is the best case scenario? So I'm gonna do a contact form submission, then I'm gonna do a page view, like a specific thank you page view, and then I'll probably do a e-commerce purchase, kind of like a raw demo of that one as well. So you can pick, hopefully one of these will help you out. So contact form submission. Okay, so we're gonna go to OpenAI Ads, Tools, Conversions, Create Conversion Event. I'm gonna select Lead. All right, so here, Tools, Conversions, Conversion Events, Create Conversion Event. I'll just do a lead created and select the pixel, and I'm gonna click Create. All right, so we're gonna click copy, And then we're going to head over to Google Tag Manager, go to our workspace, then go to tags, create a new, I'll call this OpenAI pixel lead. Actually, it's lead created, so let's be specific, lead created. All right, so this is again a custom HTML. Actually, we need a script wrap here. So this doesn't work by itself, not in Google Tag Manager. We need to do this script and then like this. So here in my tutorial, I have kind of the correct version. There are these script tags above and below what ChatGPT outputs. So this by itself, yeah, doesn't work, but with these script tags, it's gonna work. So here, a trigger, the thing that will, when this happens, we will send this conversion to OpenAI. So I'm gonna go and I'm gonna click the plus. I'll call this form submission. So this is gonna work for most forms, like Squarespace forms, Shopify. I don't know if it has like a normal built-in form. Most of the WordPress forms that are using plugins or Webflow forms, this will not work for. Yeah, this will not work for Typeform or Tally forms, for example, or something like Paperform. Those they work a little bit differently. But this works for most normal built-in contact forms in most platforms. All right, form submission. So I'm going to scroll down, user engagement, form submission, and I'm just going to call this any form submission. Okay, so here we are not adding some filters like only the lead form or contact us page form. We could do something like page URL contains contact us. Then it would only track the form on this specific page. But for the demo, we're just going to track any contact form. Right, click save, and now we should be ready to test. All right, so again in Google Tag Manager, we'll need to click the preview button again. Connect to our website, this latest version of our Google Tag Manager container. And then I'm going to head over to this contact page where I just have a normal built-in kind of classic contact form. Test, random garbage email, test. And I'm going to click submit. All right. Thank you. The form was submitted. Let's take a look at the Tag Assistant, the debugger tool that shows us what's happening under the hood. So here we see a form submit event and tags fired, OpenAI pixel, lead created. So all these tags, the pixel base, the page view, and now this lead created with the contact form submission have fired. And here under our event stream in our ChatGPT Ads Manager, we see that lead created came in. Woo, perfect. So we fill the contact form and we see a lead created come in. So our ads could use this conversion event and track. Perfect. A very common one is tracking a thank you page. This is kind of like an old school tracking method. I'm not a huge fan. There are big problems with it, and I usually advise against it. But I'll share a demo on how you can do this, and then I'll explain why you probably shouldn't. I'll try and keep this short. Anyway, if we redirect our users to something like /thank you, we can track this specific page view. So here in our Squarespace form, in the demo form, I'm going to click Edit Post Submit, and I'm going to click Redirect, and I'll just do some like slash thank you. And yeah, I think that's it. Okay. All right, so I just tested that the redirection works. So now we can track when people end up on this thank you page. So again, heading over to Google Tag Manager, I'm actually gonna click the lead created, and I'm actually just gonna use a different trigger to this. So basically, if you did this from scratch, you could just follow the same instructions. This is the lead created, but instead of triggering it on a form submission, I'm gonna get rid of the form submission trigger. I'm gonna create a new trigger, which is a page view thank you page. Right, so I'm gonna click. We're gonna go with page view, some page views, and the page path or the URL. I'm gonna go with the URL contains slash thank you. I'm gonna copy paste it from here so it is exactly right. Easy to get typos here. Okay. So now whenever we visit this page, we are also sending the lead created. Let's try this one out. So you know the drill, click preview. It's going to open the tag assistant. It's going to connect our website with the tag assistant. So here, base firing, page view firing, our lead created has not yet been fired. So I'm going to go to the contact form, test, thank you. So now we should be heading over to our thank you page, and then that should trigger our lead created OpenAI ChatGPT conversion. So click submit. Perfect. We land on a thank you page. Let's click on the tag assistant. Okay. And hey, here we have it. So here on the container loaded, lead created, this was fired. So our URL contains thank you. So because of this, then it fired our conversion. Now, thank you pages, this sort of tracking has a few problems. First of all, we want to exclude the thank you pages from search engines. So if you use them, add a code like this into your thank you pages. So here for our, sorry, not this one, the thank you page, I'm going to add a little script here. So we don't want Google to show this page to anyone. We don't want any traffic here. So if you use it, this is needed. Also, a common, surprisingly big problem with the thank you pages is that people accidentally or on purpose, they refresh the thank you page. So now for one conversion, we're actually sending a new conversion every time someone refreshes. So at least on iPhone, when you open your Safari, then it's usually going to open the last page that was visited. And if that was the thank you page, just opening the browser again will, in my experience, send a new conversion. So for one client, we kind of ran the numbers and we were surprised that there was a lot of noise, a lot of extra conversions that were not real conversions. So you can actually do a little script like this. So you can add this to the thank you page or add this to Google Tag Manager. So lead created only first time. So I'm gonna add this version, my custom version here. So what it's gonna do is it's gonna check if we have sent this conversion already, or if we haven't sent this conversion already, then it's gonna send the conversion, and then it's gonna remember in the browser that hey, we have sent this already. So I'm gonna save. I'll add a little log here. That is the first time. I'm gonna click save. And then I'm gonna click preview. All right, let's click submit. With the new version, that should only send one conversion. Right, so only first time, perfect. All right, good. So now it sent. Now let's test if this actually works. I'm gonna refresh. Actually, sorry, my mistake. We are always firing this tag. It's kind of a quick and dirty solution, but it's not actually sending the conversion to OpenAI. It's only sending the first one. So we can see that we get the lead created, but on the refreshes we only get the page view. Now we could maybe do a little bit cleaner version with cookies. So it would be something like we would create a variable here. So we would create a first party cookie. It would be called something like, it would be something like OpenAI conversion sent. And then we could use this as a filter. So we could, our OpenAI conversion sent cookie does not contain one. So yeah, this would be another way to maybe do it a little bit cleaner. Now, the thank you pages, we often want to get information like the phone number, email address, first name, last name. We often want to send those to our conversions. In Google Ads, it's called enhanced conversion tracking. In Meta Ads, it's called advanced matching. In ChatGPT Ads, it's just called send user data. Now, using the thank you page method, it's kind of problematic because if we want to use these advanced tracking features, which we usually eventually want, we would need to have the thank you page URL contain parts of the conversion information, like the email address they submitted or their phone number. Now, this is against Metapixel terms and conditions, as well as Google Analytics terms and conditions, and Meta kind of can start blocking some of your data if you send this. So yeah, I'm not a big fan of the thank you page method, but I know a lot of people use it, so I included it as well. All right, so I actually changed my tutorial a little bit in a way where the page views, I'll just say that this is optional, and if you skip tracking all pages, hopefully I'll have a conclusion here soon, then you could track specific page views using this part. So in our OpenAI ads, we can create a conversion event. It could just be a page view, and you could do something like this, like the pricing page view, like this. You would create it. So I'm gonna pause the page view that's tracking all page views, and I'm gonna actually duplicate it. So I'm gonna copy it, page view, pricing page view. So this is an example if we want to track just specific pages. Also make sure that we have the script tags here. I'm gonna unpause, click save, and then edit the trigger, create a new trigger, pricing page view, So I would choose a page view as the trigger, some page views. The page URL contains, for example, pricing. So this would be another option where we can track higher funnel steps. They visit the pricing view, pricing page, and then we send like a micro conversion before the real conversion. All right, let's take a look at e-commerce purchase. This one is a little bit trickier. I'll actually need to think about a little bit the tag sequencing, but let's run a quick demonstration to demonstrate the principle. So create conversion event, here order created, create. Now we get this kind of simple version, but it doesn't have the values or the currencies unlike this version. So let's head over to Google Tag Manager, go to tags, new tag, OpenAI, order created, kind of the same drill. Actually, script tags here. Now this is where you would add a variable. So you would need to dynamically have the value of the order. I'm just gonna use this one for now. I'm gonna maybe fire this on the, well, not the pricing page view. Let's fire this on pages where the page URL contains order confirmed. Let's use this as our little demo. Click save, preview, and I'm actually gonna, well, yeah, let's navigate to a page. I don't actually have a page like this. It's gonna have a 404, but it's still gonna trigger the conversion. So we should be able to see it here. Order created. All right, so this is kind of our e-commerce orders. The amount is a wonky format. So here, as it says, is standard ISO 4217 unit, which means that $129.99 is in this format. It's kind of unintuitive for me, but that's what they want. So make sure that this is sending exactly correct formats. Now, practically, there's a little bit of a challenge. I'll explain it, and I'll probably do another tutorial on this one. So let's try to find the Squarespace order confirmation code injection. So when we head over to code injection, this is a common pattern. We have something like order confirmation page or order status page. Now the challenge is that we can't just plug this in here. So okay, I'll actually need to. I would need to think which one of these is the correct format, or whether we need some formatting here. Now the problem is that Google Tag Manager loads a little bit slower. So if we would do it like this, we would most likely have this part fire before our OpenAI pixel has fired. So it's probably not going to work. So we probably need to do a data layer push here, and then use that with the conversion tags. Yeah, I actually needed to tweak this a little bit. So the way I would most likely do this is I would do a data layer push in our e-commerce platform. So what this means is that we use a standard format to send data to Google Tag Manager, and inside Google Tag Manager we will then kind of fire the conversion tag for OpenAI. But if we just add if we just add the OpenAI conversion directly into our e-commerce platform, it's probably gonna fire before our Google Tag Manager does. Although our Google Tag Manager is above, but it's kind of loads a little bit slower and all the tags within it. So this tag, although this code is below it, it's gonna fire faster. Yeah, that's a problem that's almost guaranteed to happen. So I would add this data layer push here, and then I would add these variables here. So we have things like order ID. These are common in most platforms. You will have something like this. So that means it's going to be dynamic for each order that comes in. Now I just did a little demo page where I added this data layer push so I can kind of test it. So here in Google Tag Manager, I'm gonna open the order confirm page, and I'm gonna see that here we are kind of pretending that we got an e-commerce order. And here in our tag assistant, we get the purchase event. And if we take a look at the data layer, we now have the transaction ID, the value, the currency. And now we can use these data layer variables from the data layer push in our e-commerce thing in our OpenAI pixel. This is getting a little bit complicated. I'll need to redo the tutorial for specific platforms. This is kind of a general one. All right, so we would do something like this, and then we will need to figure out the data layer variables. So I'm gonna click here, and I'm gonna pick the data layer variable. So it's gonna be e-commerce.value. All right, so now when I load the tag assistant on this page, I can go to the purchase event. So under data layer, we get this stuff, our information for the e-commerce purchase, but under variables, we also get the data layer variable e-commerce.value. So now we can actually use this in the OpenAI conversion tag. And if we would use this route, where we first do this data layer push, we use a custom event called purchase here. Then we will need to fire the OpenAI order created on this purchase event. So in our order created triggering, we would click plus custom event purchase, or maybe it could just be purchase actually. Custom event purchase. And now if we preview this in Google Tag Assistant for the purchase custom event, again, we are triggering it using this data layer push, where the event name is a purchase. We can trigger this custom event, and we can fire the OpenAI order created tag on this custom event. And here we are able to use the data layer variables like the order price, the value of the e-commerce order, turn it into a data layer variable e-commerce.value, and then send that to OpenAI. Yeah, this one is a little bit more tricky. I think a tutorial on a per platform basis will be needed. All right, so quite a few examples here. The last step will be, after your tag assistant is showing the tags firing, if OpenAI event stream, you see these events coming in the way we want to see them, then the final step is to publish like this. Now, one more thing I recommend is adding campaign parameters to your ads. So when you create the target URL, you would use these UTM parameters. So you add your website, maybe the product or whatever landing page you're using, question mark, and then these UTM parameters like UTM source is OpenAI ads, medium, maybe something like CPC for cost per click. The UTM campaign would be your campaign name, etc. So this way you can also measure the traffic coming in from OpenAI ads with a tool like Google Analytics. Although Google Analytics is far from perfect, it usually loses 30 to even 50% of traffic. But still, I would definitely add the UTM parameters. They don't cost anything, and you could even create a custom setup to remember these on your platform, on your website, and then store these into a contact form, for example. So in the contact form hidden fields, you could see where each lead or a client came from. So if you would see lead from OpenAI ads, then you could see that a specific lead came from there, because this kind of normal conversion tracking is pretty much anonymous. But if you use UTMs, you could create a custom setup and see where that Steve who filled your contact form came via ChatGPT ads, for example. All right, so OpenAI, just like Meta, has both the pixel. The pixel is a little bit easier to implement, although sometimes a little bit tricky as well. And it also has a conversions API, which is a server-side tracking thing. Now, the server-side tracking thing is usually, if implemented correctly, it's more accurate and it's going to track much more conversions. So on Meta Ads side, with the properly installed conversions API setup, we often see things like 80 to maybe 160% more conversions tracked, which is a big number. Here we can see how it's been between 100 and 200 conversions, sometimes a little bit less than 100, but sometimes up to 300% more conversions tracked. So the conversion API is definitely effective, and I would expect that it's gonna be pretty similar than what it is for Meta Ads. But the conversions API is significantly more complicated to set up. I would, in most cases, probably start with the pixel and see if you get some results. So if it seems like, yeah, the ChatGPT ads are working as a concept, as an idea, and then if you really want to start investing more budget, kind of double down on it, then I would do the conversions API to maximize the accuracy of the data and maximize the platform learning your audience. Now, again, it's unclear how much is OpenAI doing this kind of optimization automatically based on the data we are feeding it, but that's what all the platforms will do sooner or later. So it's going to be useful, but yeah, much more complicated. Yeah, I wouldn't install it unless I would see some conversions with the pixel first, just to validate, because you don't want to spend a lot of time and effort implementing something if the ads don't perform the way you like. This is at the moment very new, very beta, so totally uncharted territory how effective these ads are going to be for different types of businesses. All right, hopefully the tutorial was useful. If you need any help with it, you can head over to the contact page. Let me know. I can help you set up the OpenAI ChatGPT tracking. And yeah, thanks for watching the tutorial. If it was helpful, thumbs up. If there's something it needs, improved, then let me know in the comments, and I will do my best to include your requests in the next version of the tutorial. All right.